The Digimon card game is my favorite TCG. Whether it's running a deck of your favorite character, playing the best deck in the room to try and win, or just simply throwing some bulk together to have fun, there is something here for everybody. I myself somewhat competitively play, and after I qualified for nationals at a store regional, I figured I'd take the rest of the year to do a little challenge. I'll be starting out with 2 copies of the Fabled Waltz structure deck, and each week give myself $25 to spend on sealed product to hopefully make my deck better. No purchasing singles, no trading cards with friends, just me and hopefully some good cards that I need. Let's see just how far this deck can take me. Welcome to Sealed Only Digimon. Hey everybody, welcome back to Sealed Only Digimon. Welcome to episode number 7. Last week we went ahead and had some sealed event for a pre-release at our card shop. We went 3-1 overall, opened up a Centralmon that will be making its way into our deck, and a Shumon that probably will. We're going to go ahead and go back into here. I think that the Centralmon that I can pull from this set is better than the one I have access to now, though not by much. And I would really like the ability to be able to have slightly better top end at rare rather than trying to go for the super rare of the Kaguyamon. I think that the other general support like the Arisa and the option could have some work going on for them. So I would like to pull them as much as I can. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, shall we? Oh, before I forget, I also have some other card products that I had gotten before. Look at me. This is my card. I got these from the last event I had went to. This is my opening for my sealed event that not the sealed event, the constructed event I had done most recently, and then this is my pity pack for the event. So, as for this, we got a Bakemon for the participation card. This will not be doing much of anything, though it is a Iori art, which is my second favorite artist in Digimon. Definitely top 3. Probably number 2. Shout outs to Kazuma, who did the Diaboromon art in the most recent set, and the Beetlemon as the other one that's like my favorite art in Digimon, weirdly enough. I just love the use of colors. So Bakemon probably won't find a home, but that's it. For our pity pack, we got an official sort of tournament pack from last year. None of these cards really are going to do much for us. Falcomon is yellow, and if I have a tamer on play, one of my opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000. If it was a puppet, we might consider it, but it's not going to find its way into our deck. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and open up some packs of Cyber Eden, shall we? We have Dark Tyranno X, very strong card. Effectmon. Datamon. Vidramon. Eater species form. Again, we're not going to be pivoting to Eater ever, more than likely, but it's nice to have some, I guess. Recomon, Shellmon, Agumon X, Terriermon. Having a second Terriermon in our pool is very, very good. Arrow Vidramon. Our first rare is an Arisa. Heck yeah. This one allows you to float into any other Arisa, which right now for us is a setter. But if we control no Digimon, also lets us play a Shumon. If we float into the setter Arisa, by the time that the Shumon is played, the other Arisa will be on board and we'll be able to give it Rush. So this is incredible. So good for us to pull. Very excited to have this. And also, whenever we play a puppet, period, we just get a draw card. So it is advantage. Fantastic. And a Kentasaurmon. Again, very strong card. Don't think it's going to end up in our puppet deck. If we do end up making a Cyber Sleuth deck, we might do something with it, but who's to say? All right, next pack. Ooh, we got something back there. Togemon, Tapmon, Blue Marimon, sealed format All-Star Blue Marimon, Kurisarimon, MCmon, regular Marimon, Kiaromon. I have been thinking if I want to use this card. It's a little bit easier to delete my own Digimon, and this will be my second one of these eggs. If I pull a playset, I might consider it, so we'll just have to see if I do. Hagurumon, very, very nice to have. Cressmon. Unique Emblem Fable Waltz is very strong, being able to play out anything from hand or notably from trash. We're on 4 Shumon, and we're going to be on about 6, hopefully at least 4-ish Arisas if everything goes ideally. So having that access is really good. And then whenever we suspend something, whenever we play a Digimon by effect or regularly, we'll be able to Digivolve another one into a puppet trait for a reduced cost of 3. So this is incredibly strong. We'll find its way into our main deck. Our first rare is Metal Garurumon, and our second one is a Ryugumon. Not much there. We're pulling a lot of the blue Liberator stuff, but I'd really like to pull more yellow Liberator stuff. A second Sendromon would feel fantastic. Nyan Boot obviously is the main thing that I'm going for in this set. Yeah, let's go. Dreammon, Togemon from my last pack is hiding out here. Vademon is really strong. If we do end up pivoting to DM, which I do want to talk about really quick, Vademon will definitely find its way. I have been looking at my DM support. I think that the DM cards are incredibly good at removal, which is what I'm mostly crucially lacking on. The biggest problem with DM is that I have to open EX9 again, which isn't that big of a deal. The problem becomes that I really am looking for analog youths in addition to the other level 5s that might do something, and Chimeramon. So there's a lot of moving parts going on there. I could get away with maybe 2 or 3 Chimeramon, but I really need a couple of analog youths to make the strategy really cohesive. If we find ourselves going back to EX9 for Kaguyamon and finding some analog youths along the way, I would definitely consider playing it. It was brought up in the comments, so I'm going to bring it up. But Vademon is also really strong. You just de-digivolve 1 on Evo, and then you get to trash something to bounce something, a 4-cost or lower Digimon or Tamer back to their hand. This card is, and it's a redirect inherit. It is so good for the DM deck. So definitely highly considering this card if we do go into DM in some capacity. Hey, there's a Shumon. This Shumon is really good. We get to bump up our Shumon count for our Fable Waltz unique emblem. On play and on deletion, giving blocker to something is really good, especially since we're trying our best to move off of our current Sendromon. Being able to give other things blocker will be incredibly strong, including itself. Music of the Heart. We have a Moonmon, which is notably not CS straight, which I thought was really weird all pre-release. Kausgamamon, Kirinmon, Gold Numemon, a Yugo, the first one I've opened for this set. Very, very strong card in CS. We're not playing CS. Agumon, Yao, and Lunamon. Alrighty. So far, no supers. I'd like to open up a super that will do something for us, which is 1. Let's see if we can do it. There are about 9 supers in a set, so we're pretty likely to pull one eventually. Monzaemon is very strong for DM as well. It is a puppet. Theoretically, we could play it, but we don't have any face down sources. And it doesn't do that much. It might find a slot over like EX Tyrannomon or something, but who's to say? Roamon, Lekismon, Okuamon, Shushumon on deletion, letting me play a puppet from hand. So I could play this out off of an effect, delete it, and then play it and float into another puppet, perhaps. Could let me do something. It is better. We do have kind of a gap in our 4s of what we could be playing, so this might find its way in. Sangomon, Karamon, Metal Tyranno X Antibody, Raidenmon, a really good ace for us to have access to in green and black. I don't think we're going to be pivoting to green and black anytime soon, but having it in our pool is very, very good for us. Palmon, Gaiomon is really, really strong. Again, we're not playing Cyber Sleuth, I don't think, so it's not like fantastic, but it is what it is. But being able to, this card is just really good for the Gaiomon deck. I think that deck has some legs. It's not going to be the strongest thing in the room, but I think it can do stuff with the 2 most recent Gaiomons we got, in addition to the EX4 one and the BT10 one. Kind of being able to have a Gaiomon toolbox that you can float around with is really interesting. And our last card of this card pack is Lord Knight, which is very funny because Lord Knight was prophesized right there. Look at her. Cool. And they both have Raid Reboot, which is very funny. Alrighty. We've opened a couple of the rookies, which is really nice. If we do decide to go the Cyber Sleuth. If we do decide to go into Cyber Sleuth, I would really, really like to have access to like Alphamon as a top end, but depending on what our pools are, I mean, we might be able to look at it a little bit sooner. Like if we're able to get all the rookies, we had a really large amount of the 4s from our original sealed pool, so it's possible. Alrighty, and for our next pack, we have Eater Human Form. We have Puyoyomon, Sumemon, Cyberspace Eden, Gardramon, I think that's our 3rd one, Wizengamamon, Pete, Chaperomon. We might have maybe 1 or 2 copies of this card just because it does let us warp from a 3 to a 5, which alongside of our Arisa could be something that's really good for us. If we play out a Shumon from our hand or from our trash or something, and then being able to like warp up into this could be pretty strong. I don't know how many I'm going to run, but we will probably fill out our Karakuru missing slots with this. Vegemon, Jimmy Ken, my favorite guy in the game, We have Diaboromon, shoutouts to Kazuma, favorite artist of Digimon, and our last card is a Musimon. I saw the yellow and got excited for like just a second. All right, last pack. 0 supers. Can we end with 1 perhaps? Like, we've had a decent opening so far, but I would love to have just a super just to be able to look at. And let me get all this pack stuff off of the side. I'm recording a little bit differently, and so I'm realizing just how much space I was using beforehand, and it's not pretty. We have Devimon, Gargomon, Repamon, another species form, Dark Tyranno X, Sangomon, Datamon, Gabumon, Poseida Lagoon, Skullmera, Amirai, and our last card of our week for our opening is going to be another Orisa. You know, no supers is kind of a bummer. It's kind of a downside. I just knocked my camera around, but you guys can't even see it, so it's okay. Well, actually, you can't see it. Crap. No supers is a bummer. It just gives us something to look forward to for next week, however. Hopefully pulling a super there. Like I said, ideal super would be to pull a Nyan Boot. Ideally, we pull 2. I don't think that's likely in the set that we're opening, but 2 of these Orisas will definitely find their way in. Shumons between last week and this week will find their way in. So let me go ahead and head on over and get to building, and I'll be back whenever I finish that up. And welcome back. I took the time again to look through my entire deck list and see what my cuts are, and as you can see, I have a couple. So let's go ahead and take a look at it, shall we? We'll start with our 3s. I decided that I want to add 1 more Handymon and 2 more Shumon. I want to be on 3 Handymon because the inherited effect is really solid, the on-play is really good, and more notably, that I would like to be able to have recursion for the pieces that I'm kind of lacking on, because it kind of ends up being a little bit more toolboxy. Being able to get any piece back that I need for my trash is really solid. So I like all this. For those cuts, I am cutting 1 Junkmon and 2 Pawn Chessmon. My problem in this deck is not my ability to find pieces, and I really don't like digivolving for 1 in the back into Pawn Chess. Additionally, since I am working on removing my aspects of the Structured X Dendromon, I don't need Reboot because I don't really have Blocker anymore, as you'll see more when we move into it later. So these are my cuts for my 3s. For 4s, I am adding in 2 Shumons, 2 Shushumons, I should say. Inherited, when attacking, minus 2k is like, okay, it removes out smaller bodies, which is helpful, but more importantly, being able to play it out off of like a Mirai or off of something, and then having it be deleted and activating its on deletion effect to play out another level 3 lets you kind of cycle through some stuff. With the Sendromon, it lets you kind of cycle down, but I just don't have great 4s, so I'm cutting 1 Tobucat and 1 Doggymon. Tobucat, I'm kind of sad to see go, but my days of being able to get in an extra chip or 2 off of it are few and far between. I'm finding myself hiding in the back a lot more to kind of buy some time. So those are those cuts. For the 5s, I did decide I want to add 2 of these Chaperomon. I was thinking about it more, and I had 1 X Tyrannomon in there that I'm going to cut for 1 of them. And I was thinking about it more, and I was just like, I kind of don't need 4 of these Chaperomons right now. I think these Chaperomons are the best ones. However, being able to have a hand effect that works with my 2 Orisas that I have, the 2 my Scramble-esque ones, if I should say. Let me Evo up to them for 3, and then being able to kind of combo off from there are really, really good. And I want to have access to them. So we'll have 2 of those. I'm cutting, and I don't always need access to minus 6,000 total DP. I'm still on 3. I'm on a 3-2-2 split of 3 of this Chaperomon, this one here, these 2, and then 2 Karakuru, and I think that's a good ratio that I like, so I'm going to stick with that for a little bit and see how it goes. For our 6s, I'm adding the Sendromon. For the one I'm removing the Shinmonzemon. Shinmonzemon has not come up, like, ever. I talked about how it might come up every once in a while, but more often than not, I really just want to push my aggression, which is what this deck is really leaning into. And Shinmonzemon costing 4 and just recovering you 1 isn't enough. You know, my 6s aren't usually enough in either case, but at least this Sendromon can make me some extra tokens. So we're adding my release stamp, might I add, Sendromon. For the last bit, we're going to do Tamers and Options. So I'm wanting to add all 4 of these cards. Notably, I want to add the Fable Waltz. I want to add the 2 Mirais that we opened. Or sorry, I've been saying Mirai this whole time. Orisa. I'm opening the Risas that I opened. And I also want to add 1 more Setter Orisa just to make comboing into these a smidgen better. With that being said, my cards that I'm removing the 2 Shotos. They aren't searchable off of my physical trainings. and I don't have I have a way to play them for free, but I just feel a little bit awkward. There's a there's a very solid chance that I end up adding them again in the future, but for now I want to try without it and see how it feels. I'm also cutting the 2 Wonder Stomps. Wonder Stomp is just kind of a card that like doesn't do anything for me right now. It lets me play out of 3, but my deck is already pretty good at playing out 3s between the Mirai, the correct tamer name this time, as well as some other stuff. Like the Arisa here and some other things. I don't really need the extra thing, and then it's like I can get I have my tokens off my Sendril, and I have the new Sendril that allows me to get extra tokens. So this is what my cuts are looking like. So with that, I think I'm just gonna sleeve up the new cards, and I will see you guys in post-game commentary. Have fun. Talk to you later. See you in like a second. Goodbye. And welcome back. It's been a few days since I had the event, so let's go ahead and just watch over the games, get into it. There's some ups, there's some downs. We had 4 total rounds this week. So let's just watch all 4 games and we'll see what happens, shall we? All right. And so for round 1, I'm up against my buddy Thomas, who's on Omnimon, and his Omnimon deck is very scary with the Nokia, but he's missing some of the good stuff that really makes it really strong. We're starting off, he's Digivolving in the back. I tell him how his Gabumon can pick up Omnimon in text, as well as a CS trait, and so he can pick up the Agumon. He Digivolves in the back. I go ahead and set up my turn with a Handymon into an Orisa. And my following turn, I play out the Shumon. I get a search off. I get to draw off the Orisa, and then I Digivolve into Shushu in the back. My opponent goes ahead and does some more searching. We see the Greymon. The Greymon is all but taken out in more recent builds, but for now, Thomas is trying it out, and at the end of the set, we talk about it and realize it's just not the best. I go ahead and promote out my Shushumon. I Digivolve for 3 into Chaparro just to try and out the Gabumon to see if I can keep him off resources as best as I can. Thomas pops the Wisteria, goes to 4, and then pays 8 to go into Gabu, and then he Digivolves into Alter S. Here, I think that Alter S has immunity until the end of my turn, because I do the thing where I go ahead and I float out my Orisa into the center Orisa. I play out a Shumon, I give it Rush, and I declare the Chaperomon effect. And so it's like I go into Sendril here. I play out the 2 familiar tokens. In my hand, I have a Noble Family Arts, but I don't think that he has... I think he has protection, so I don't go for it. I just Digivolve in the back for 2, choke him to 1. I overclock with a familiar token thinking it wouldn't do anything, but with all the Digimon I had on board, the 12k would have deleted it, and it would have saved me here. He's able to swing, trash 1, unsuspend, end of attack, put himself back on top, spit out his 2 bodies, and then he has another DNA in hand. He just gets to go for an attack, and then it's game. We lose the first game, and I'm not surprised by that at all. Game 2 is going to go fairly similarly, if I had to guess. I Digivolve into a Shushu in the back. My opponent goes ahead and goes into an Agumon and then plays a Wisteria. I respond by just Digivolving into a Chaperomon in the back for 3, and then we're kind of just playing it slow. He's promoted. I go ahead and play out a Mirai. He promotes and he hits a Mirai in my security. I grab something off of the search. I Digivolve into Sendril. I use the Mirai effect. I play out a Pawn Chessmon just to get a little bit more deep draw going. I figure my best way into this is just drawing hard. My opponent Digivolves and then plays a tie. I go ahead and start attacking with all of my tokens. And then I don't have another 3. I was really hoping to pull another one, but I did not pull another one off the Pawn Chess. But we go ahead and attack, and I don't overclock here. But I do hit a second Wisteria, so my opponent is just going to be able to go off. He picks up some cards off of Gabu. He goes up to 5 memory off of his memory boosts. He plays out the Metal Garu. He Digivolves in over to Wargrey. He attacks. I get another text. He attacks for 2 checks. He puts himself out top of security, and then he Digivolves into another Alter S and swings for game. I know that was a pretty fast game, and I was talking pretty fast, but the moral of the story is that a deck that is pretty good is going to be the deck that is made of scraps, and Thomas played it pretty well, and I just kind of got outraced. Even if I had deleted him in the first game, I don't know if it necessarily would have won it for me, but it would have been a lot longer of a game, so those are the beats. You take them, you leave them. Let's go to game 2. Round 2. I keep calling them games because whatever. All right, and for round 2, we're up against Mastemon again. We go ahead and start off. My opponent hatches Kiaramon, goes into Salamon X, and then into the Tobukatmon. I Digivolve in the back into the Searcher Shumon, and then I play a yellow memory boost. I pick up I see two Tamers and an option, so I pick up my only legal target, which was a Kokeshi, so I'm not too upset about it. My opponent swings with the Tobukatmon and plays out another Salamon X. I'm sitting in the back, and I'm trying to debate if I actually want to promote here, trying to figure out the line in which the Kokeshi is actually clears the entire board here, and I think that I find it, so I go ahead and promote, go on Eva for 2, debating on what I want to do here. I attack, I give it the Tobu Cat minus 2,000 off of my inherited from my, or from the, I give it -4 from the Kokeshi, and then I walk over the Tobu Cat, and then I Digivolve into Chapeau for 3 to give the Salamon X -3. My opponent plays out a Angelomon to prevent me from attacking, but that lets me play out another yellow memory boost and a Mirai, and then Digivolve into Handymon on the back. My opponent pays 4, putting me down to 1 memory to play out the Black Gatomon. As long as I don't delete it, I don't have to worry about it. I plop a yellow memory boost, go into Shumon, go ahead and play Shumon, pick up a card, and then I realize I make a mistake here. I go into Central, and then I overclock using the Shumon that I had played. If I had popped one of the familiar tokens, I would have ended up with a familiar token, and I would have given -3 to the Black Gatomon. That would have prevented the search here. My opponent tries to play a yellow option. I inform them that they don't, and then they play out another Angelomon to give me another sec -2. I go ahead and start swinging out. I attack with both my familiar tokens. They both live. I attack with my Centralmon just to get a card draw because I'm still on the old Kiaramon egg. And then I debate if I want to overclock, which it wouldn't do anything if I did, so I choose not to. My opponent does, however, go for an for a Mastemon play. My opponent puts something back on top. They replay out the Angelomon. They go ahead and they would delete something of the same level, but they can't. The tokens don't have levels, and Central is a 6, so nothing there happens. They put me under an Odin's Breath, so all of my stuff has sec -1. I go ahead and promote. I Digivolve the Shushu into a Chapeau to give -6 to the Angelomon. I attack. I hit a Chaos Dag. I'm about to hit a Chaos Dag, but I remind my opponent that I am under a sec -1, so I can't actually do a swing. And it does kind of not really influence the play I'm going to go for. I just had a notification, and it ruined everything. Oh, great. Oh, fun. Cool. All right. Shouldn't get any more notifications. Sorry about that. We're kind of just spinning our wheels here, though. I have 4 tokens. I get to start attacking here. My opponent, I ask them what they want to remove. I attack with the second token. That's a second Chaos Dag. And I just clean up with the tokens. A small army is enough to do that with. I go ahead and start my next turn. I am going first, so I Digivolve into Pawn Chess in the back for 1 to low pass. And then my opponent sets up their Mirai. And then we just kind of pass back. I have my setter Arisa and as well as a physical training. My opponent promotes and goes to do a Tobu Cat. They hit another setter. You know, it's not great, but it doesn't hurt anything. Like, it's cool that it's heads jamming anyway, so it's always, my thing was always going to live that attack. They Digivolve into, oh my goodness, early morning recording, I apologize, but they Digivolve into a Lady Devi. They try to get a search on, and then they don't actually hit anything in their search, unfortunately. I go ahead and play out a yellow memory boost, Digivolve to Kokeshi in the back, really just setting up to ensure that I can go to a 6 next time. My opponent Digivolves in the back, doesn't attack, and then plays out a Kari for 4, setting me to my 3. I go ahead and play out a Shumon using a yellow memory boost I had lying around. And then giving the Shumon itself rush, and then I Digivolve to a Chaperonemon to give -6 to the Lady Devimon. I then use physical training, pop it. I go into Centralmon afterwards, passing for the full 3, and that's enough. I go ahead and attack with the Shumon. I give my Centralmon blocker, even though it doesn't matter. And then I attack with the familiar token. I play a Shumon. And then with the familiar token, I'd given the -3 to the Angelomon, and then since I played out the Shumon, evolving into Kokeshi lets me to give it another -4. Keeping my opponent off bodies in a DNA deck is really strong. I got Celestial Arrowed here, which completely outs my Centralmon, but it's still enough. I go ahead and look through my hand just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. I go ahead and pay 3 for... Oh, I get sec -1. That's why I'm not editing here. I go ahead and go for Unique Emblem Fable Waltz here just to really set up because I have the other Arisa in my hand. My opponent attacks here. They die in security. They Odin's Breath me. I go to 3. I decide, I'm just going to continue to build up. There's no reason to promote out here because my entire board is under sec -1. I go ahead and I just pay 6 to pass my opponent because I have nothing else better to do. I apparently have no level 5. But I also kind of just want to go wide in case they out me or they have, enough Angelomons. And then I just go ahead and go to my turn. I don't promote, and then I swing for game with the Shushu. We are currently 1-1. Very close set. The Odin's Breath really stopped me for a turn, but... Oh my goodness, can you tell it's early? The Odin's Breath stopped me for a turn, but I don't know if it's enough to keep me off with the removal that the deck has access to currently. Let's go into round 3. And for round 3, we're up against our resident Gallantmon enjoyer, but they're not playing Gallantmon, as you can tell by the purple egg. They are playing Meggy. I guess Gallantmon's kind of on the purple egg nowadays, but they're on Meggy. They go ahead and play out a Gilex. They hit nothing, and then they Digivolve into Growlmon, and they build both of us for 2. I am trying to figure out what my game plan is in this, and I think it's that I'm the beatdown, because I can't really stop my opponent from attacking. Even if I do, the end of attack still triggers and all of my stuff is deleted. My opponent digivolves into Growl X. They draw one, trash one. Growl X lets them play out a Guilmon X. They hit 3 Guilmon with their none in the back. They hit a physical training, which does allow them actually this time to go into Guilmon. They go ahead and digivolve for 2 into Growlmon. They mill 2 more cards, and I go ahead and just decide to promote here. Pop physical training, give -4 to the Growlmon. I play out the Shumon. I pop yellow memory boost. I digivolve for 3 into Karakuru. Karakuru allows me to go into Sendril. And then I overclock with one of the tokens. I want to live here, but I hit a Rival's Barrage, and then I'm blown up. I go ahead and pop my other token to survive, and then I am hit with a second Rival's Barrage from the hand. We're just kind of setting up back and forth here. We're kind of playing Tamers one another, and it's just like, I know this isn't the best thing for me to be doing because Meggy is an OTK style deck, but I can't think of anything else that I would rather be doing right now. I promote, I go into another Chaperonemon. I go ahead and debate if I want to overclock, and I decide not to, just so I have the extra end attacks around, just in case. My opponent attacks for 2. We're counting up our trash here. I believe he digivolves for 1 into Meggy, or for 2. And then I go ahead and debate if I want to end I attempt to end the attack. He raid retals into me, and I'm debating if I want to end the attack. And my decision is no. The way these familiar tokens will stack is that whenever he plays out, I get to give -3s too. My opponent, seeing that, goes ahead and gains a couple memory back. He goes ahead and plays out the War Growl and adds back a Meggy in hand. And then the delete everything triggers, and then I go ahead and give -6 to the War Growl. But that's fine. He actually goes ahead and digivolves into Meggy and then plays out Chaos Gallant at the end of his turn. And then hard drops a Geel X. It is so hard for me to figure out what to do in this matchup. I just think it is exceptionally difficult. And, as of recording today and the video going up today, we're getting a ban list soon, and I would not be surprised if we see some combination of Growlmon X or Gravity Crush hit. I don't necessarily think that it sucks for Gallantmon to lose Growlmon X, but I think that the card is just so powerful that's my guess. So if you guys want to see me do another ban list prediction video, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know. My opponent's just rushing me out. I am left with 0 security, but they have the Gallantmon on board. They're recovering. They're hitting everything. They play out a Growlmon for 5. Because that they're at 12, I don't have a good way to do what I need to do. I go ahead and digivolve into Shushu. I digivolve into the Hanny. Hanny allows me to, or I digivolve into it. I use the Mirai to play out the Hanny. Hannymon allows me to play out a token. Allows me to play out the, if I lost track and it doesn't matter. We're in the next game anyway. I go ahead, digivolve into Shumon, play a yellow memory boost, hit some Tamers, but I do hit a Hannymon, so I grab that. My opponent digivolves in the Geel in the back. They play a Geel. Geel discards the Rush Geel, and then they digivolve into Growl X, and then they grab themselves the promo Gallantmon. On top of that, then they go ahead and we're talking about math of something. I don't know. It's been so long, I've forgotten. They play physical training. They hit something. And then it's my turn. I go ahead and go to Kokeshi. I give -4 to the Geel X. They gain a memory, and it is their turn. They go ahead and go for a Digimon that I designed. I hatch. I promote. I hatch an egg. I digivolve into the Hannymon. I attack. I hit Meggy. I really am just kind of at a loss for what I should be doing here. The more I let them set up resources, the better it is for them. Like a Kaguyamon makes this matchup feel a lot better because all of my smaller pieces that I'm losing do get replayed at least, so I'm able to get advantage off of that. But as it stands, I'm kind of just like letting my opponent fully set up, right? Like they go into Growl X here. Growl X, they draw 1, they trash 1, they pop physical training, go into War Growl for 1, and we count up our trash. They have enough to reduce the cost by 1, I should say. They go for 3. They hit 2 checks. They blow themselves up. They trash the security. They gain back the 2 memory. They grab back the piece that they need, and they play out a body. I believe they play out the body. Yep, there's the Growl X. So they play out the body that they need, which is they have 2 bodies that they can play out, which is 2 Rush Guilmon. My opponent then goes ahead and is debating if they want to activate the Digimon I designed. They activate the Analog Youth, gain a memory, hatch an egg, and they do not activate the Digimon I designed. They just attack with both their Rush Geels. They both die. This is curtains at this point, right? They try to play a red option. I tell them they do not have a red source in play to be able to play a red option. They go ahead and just hard pass the turn. They know that they have me pretty much cooked on my next turn just due to the number of cards in our trash. I go up for my line. I go ahead and go into the central and start doing what I can. I actually didn't have it, and then I accidentally hit them with... I hit an Analog Youth Insecurity, which the third card revealed was the BT-13 Rush Gallant, and there's nothing that I can do to prevent that. I am just dead on board. I play out a pawn chess, discard 3, draw 2. My hope is that they don't have just enough cards to be able to just outright out me. They pop the token, I get to replay it, and then they attack. I don't actually have... Like, I have the handy, and I don't know why I didn't attempt to stop the attack, but I don't think there was much I could have done from there. We lose round 3. We're 1-2 now. I'm not surprised that we're losing to Omni and Meggy of all decks. We're doing pretty well for ourselves, but round 4, let's see what we're up to. And what we are up to in round 4 is actually against the Digimon player that we lost to previously. I'm hoping that we might be able, with our new support, to do something, hopefully. So let's find out. My opponent digivolves and then plays out the hero that lets them draw 1, gain 1 at the start of turn by slotting a source. My opponent's just going up the line. They go into the Regulus. They discard a card, so that way on deletion they do something. I still don't know what this Regulus mon does. I'm going to be so real. We have pawn chess. I am actively searching for a 4 if it wasn't immediately obvious by what I have going on. But between, I have a Setter Arisa and a Mirai setup. My opponent does go up the entire line, and they have a Sirius. They're going to go for 2 swings. They hit a second Setter Arisa as well as a Chaparro, and then they play out a Gamamon. I'm kind of looking at my board, and I'm trying to figure out if they have the on deletion, and they do not, but they have the all effects. So I'm like, I don't know what to do here. I promote up my Kokeshi. I go ahead, or I promote up my rookie, Digivolve into Kokeshi, use Mirai to play out the Shumon, and then I go ahead and give the Shumon Rush. Kirikuru pops it immediately, but I do want a popped one around. I had given it -4 off of the Kokeshi, so I go ahead and just walk Central into it. I play out another Mirai, I overclock, giving -3 to the living Gamamon, and then I reboot. So I do have a blocker here. I do give my opponent 3 memory. They gain 1 going up to 4, and they have enough cards, so it's like it's possible that they just make another large stack here again and delete it, but they don't. They only are able to go up to Cannon Weiss, and they out my token, so it's not like I can remove anything, but it does allow me to live up and then theoretically answer whatever they go into. I just bit my tongue. I go ahead and debate. I go ahead and play out the Shumon, give myself blocker, give -4 to this Regulus because they're only at 7, and then I go ahead and discard a card to give another -4 to give -8. So I am currently in the driver's seat. They play a Strongest of Brothers. They have no rookie in the back they want to digivolve into. I see they have the purple Gamamon, and I'm kind of shocked they didn't go into that. I don't know if it can go on top of Gurimons, but they might not be able to. I go ahead and start attacking out. I hit the worst possible card in their security off of my overclock, which is a red scramble that allows them to play back out the Gamamon. I put them to 3 memory because they didn't have a rookie in the back, and they play out the Gamamon, and then they use the effect, put a card underneath it, and then they start going up the line. They have Wazen Gamamon here to give themselves blocker. They go into Regulus Ace. They go into Sirius for free with the Strongest of Brothers. They pop my body. And then they attack for my final 2 checks, which is a yellow memory boost and a unique emblem, which allows me to play out the Shumon. This looks really good for them. They go into Proxima. Proxima allows them to pop my Shumon, and then they go ahead and play out that thing, whichever one, the evil one. But this allows me to go ahead and go into they love you to Risa, play it float, and swing for game with Rush. Very, very nice. We start off game 2. My opponent goes into the purple Gamamon in the back, as well as a hero. I go ahead and play out some options, and digivolve into a Junkmon. They go into Gulis. I think it's Gulis Gamamon. And they get a search on with the Strongest of Brothers. They pick up another rookie, and they pass it to me. I digivolve for 2 in the back. I pay 2 for a yellow memory boost, and then I play a searcher for 3. I'm really trying to give them as little memory as possible, but I'm not sure if it matters because they do get a digivolve for free with the Strongest of Brothers and the start of main off of the hero. They go ahead and digivolve for 4 into Arcturusmon here. Which I also don't know what it does. Like the Gamamon cards, I understand in theory kind of what they can do. In practice, I have no idea what any of them do, actually. It's very, very strange. My opponent is attacking me. I digivolve up in the back. I have the Arisa in rotation. They hit a Shumon. They play out a Gamamon at the end of attack, and then they attack me again. They play another Strongest of Brothers. They pick up a card, and it's my turn. I am at 1 memory, and I'm kind of living on a hope and a prayer and a dream. I promote up the Chaparomon, debating what I want to do here. I pop the physical training, play out 2 tokens. I give -12 to the Arcturusmon, and then I go ahead and overclock with the Centralmon. And then I give my opponent effectively, I give them 4 memory, but they gain 2 off of the heroes that they play off of the Arcturus deletion. They go ahead and pay 3 to play out the Gamma, and then they go ahead and Digivolve it, tuck something, gain 2 more memory and 2 more card draws off of the other heroes in the back, and then Digivolve into the Sirius. Sirius slots something, deletes my token, and then attacks, and then it's able to pop something. I give it -3, and it deletes based on DP, but it's not going to be enough. Or maybe it is. They go ahead and play another hero. Another hero, another Strongest of Brothers has hero on the art, and pass it over to me. I go ahead and go to my Central. I really wish they would have deleted me. I might have been able to do something with this Orisa, but I'm really kind of forced to attack once, decide not to overclock, and just hoping for the best. My opponent is going to be able to go up to 6 memory at the start of turn, and I just scoop. There's too much advantage there. They attack. I think I said to him afterwards, my only way out was for him to misplay, and I just had to hope for the best. And he played correctly. Game 3, I play out a Shumon, get Search on. I grab some Tamers. I attack with the Junkmon first to get a card draw. I attack with the Shumon, and I hit a Strongest of Brothers and a hero. You know, just 2 cards I really didn't want to hit out of security, but it's where we are. I end my turn by hitting a Mirai, or playing a Mirai, and getting a Search on. My opponent goes into a Ghoulless Gamamon as well as a Siriusmon on top of an Arcturusmon stack. This is a very, very strong board, and they blow past me 2-1. Very, very good plays here. I go into Shumon. I play a physical training, try to figure out what I want. I grab the Searcher just to have an extra body to delete, just in case. My opponent attacks with their Siriusmon. They gain a memory, draw a card, and then I'm able to give -6 to something with the Noble Family Arts, which is exactly what the Ghoulless Gamamon was at. My opponent Digivolves into Proximamon and low passes me again. I do go to 3 off of the Orisa. I promote. I go ahead, pop physical training, go into Kokeshi. Kokeshi's effect allows me to discard 1 card, which is going to be a Structured X Central to give -4. I use the Mirai to get a Search on, picking up another Structured X Central as well as another Shumon. It's like I didn't even do this play. We're going to give another -6 here, so that's -10 total. And so I go ahead and Digivolve into the Central. Central will delete something to do 1 attack and then make another familiar token. I don't know why I didn't just walk over it. I think I was scared about its on deletion effect. Gamamon has so many effects in its arsenal that I'm scared to do anything ever. My opponent promotes. They go into a Weezin. They attack. They hit 7, and they actually aren't big enough to live the attack. But they do play out a Gamamon. Gamamon gets a Search on, grabs a piece, and they're kind of looking at their Proximamon stack. Their Proximamon stack, they don't really have much of anything. They show. I ask what on deletions they currently have, and they show me. They do have something funny that they can do. They attempt to delete me. I prevent them from doing so by popping a token. I should play out another token here. I think I miss it, but I give -3. Oh, there's the other token. Cool. It goes to my turn at 3. I draw. I hatch. I Digivolve into Shumon in the back. Really just, I asked him if he has any blockers, and he doesn't. I attack for 3k with my token. That Orisa gives me Rush in case he does do something. I can give the token Rush, and then I swing for a game. Because I have the Orisa in rotation, it does allow me to get an extra little bit of Rush going on, and that's very, very nice. And my opponent, I give them enough -DP, and I go ahead and go for the safest line in case they have some level 8 ace I'm unaware of, but it is just enough for me to go. And so we end the week at 2-2. We had somebody at the top tables drop in going into round 4 because they had some personal stuff come up. So I actually ended up walking away with 2 packs. I walked away with the 2 packs of EX7, actually. So in case I need to open an EX7, let's say that I pull like 2 Neon Boot somehow in my BT22 pulls, I will go straight into that. But yeah, all I'm seeing every week is that our top end is really just the most lacking. As soon as we pull some better top end, things will get better for us. But until we do, we're kind of just chilling. We're kind of just hanging out and doing our best. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let me know if you want to see me do a ban list prediction style video. Let me know if you what you think of the series. Let me know what packs you want to see me open next. Let me know what you think about everything. Tell me how your day went. Until next time, go ahead and make somebody's day a little bit better. Make somebody smile. I don't know. Take it easy. See ya.